In today's session, I will be discussing the poem Heaven If You're Not Here on Earth, written by K.V. Puttappa. He is well known by the pen name Kuvempu. He is considered the greatest writer in Kannada literature. He is the first Kannadiga to receive the Gnanapita Award and Kendra Sahitya Academy Award. He has got the title Rashtrakavi. His famous works are Sri Ramayana Darshanam and Kanura Ekadati. He was conferred the Padma Vibhushan by the Government of India. This poem is translated into English by Dr. C. Naganna, a poet, critic and translator. He has brought out more than 20 books in Kannada and English. At present, he is the Director of Prasaranga, the Publication Division of the University of Mysore. Now, we'll concentrate on the theme of the poem. Here, Kuvempu is talking about heaven. He is trying to tell us that heaven is not somewhere else, but it is on this earth itself. In our mythology, we believe that there are two concepts called heaven and hell. No one has seen it, but we believe that these two imaginary places exist. So, what is heaven? Where do you find heaven? Heaven is in the sky or above the sky. Gods and angels reside in heaven. Heaven is a beautiful place. People who do good deeds during their lifetime go to heaven. On the other hand, hell is in the underground. It is a dark and dingy place where devils reside. People who do bad deeds during their lifetime go to hell. This is our perspective about heaven and hell. Whereas in this poem, Kuvempu is giving us a different perspective about heaven. So now we'll concentrate on the poem. I'll read the poem once. I want you all to follow the text. Heaven, if you're not here on earth, where else could you be? If we ourselves cannot be gods, then there can be no gods. If we ourselves aren't heavenly nymphs, the nymphs are not elsewhere. While this roaring stream rushes fast, rolling surf at the edge of waves, the tender sunshine leans on verdant gardens, and then the gentle sun make this earth heaven. In the splendor of harvest and of moonlight, heaven lies all over. Imbibing and spilling the song of nectar, the poet thus creates heaven on earth. So, this is a short and simple poem. The poem consists of 3 stanzas. So now we'll concentrate on the first stanza. Heaven, if you're not here on earth, where else could you be? The poet is asking us a question here. If heaven cannot be found on this earth, where else can it be? As I told you earlier, we human beings, we believe that heaven is in the sky. And we are not searching for heaven on this earth. But what is Kuvempu trying to tell us? That heaven has to be on this earth itself. If it is not on this earth, then you cannot find heaven somewhere else. So, heaven and hell are in our mindset. For suppose, if you are very happy in your life, you don't have any problems and difficulties, your life is going on in a smooth way, then that itself is heaven. So, you are very happy in your life, so happiness itself is heaven. Suppose, in your life is filled only with problems and difficulties, then that itself is hell. So, heaven and hell are in our mindset. So heaven has to be found on this earth. It cannot be found somewhere else. If we ourselves cannot be gods, then there can be no gods. So God, we believe that there is a supreme power which is controlling us or guiding us or protecting us. To that power we have given the name God. So God is a person who is kind, compassionate, loving, caring, treating everyone as equal and forgiving our mistakes. These are the qualities which we attribute to God. So what is Kuvempu trying to tell us here? If we ourselves cannot be gods, so can we become gods? We cannot be superpowered like gods, but we can imbibe or we can inculcate these good qualities. By inculcating these qualities, we can try to be like gods. This is what Kuvempu is trying to tell us here. For example, a person is very poor, is in difficulty. Okay? So you help that person. So by helping him, you become a god in his perspective. So what is Kuvempu trying to tell us here? So we need to be gods by our deeds. So we human beings, we need to inculcate virtues like compassionate and kindness. We need to live harmoniously with others on this earth. This is the message given by Kuvempu in this poem. So by inculcating these qualities, we need to try to be like gods. So if we ourselves cannot be gods, if we cannot imbibe these qualities, then we cannot find God somewhere else. So what are we human beings doing? We are searching for God somewhere else. But where is God? God is within us. We need to inculcate these qualities and try to be gods. If we ourselves aren't heavenly nymphs, the nymphs are not elsewhere. So what do you mean by the word nymph? Nymph means angel. In Kannada, Apsari. So where do we find angels? We believe that angels reside in heaven. So again, angels, even they are kind, compassionate, loving and caring. So what is Kuvempu trying to tell us here? So we need to become nymphs by inculcating these qualities. If we ourselves cannot be nymphs, then we cannot find nymphs somewhere else. So that is what Kuvempu is trying to tell us here. So how can we human beings try to be gods and nymphs? By inculcating good qualities and living harmoniously on this earth. By living harmoniously, we can create heaven on this earth. There is no need for human beings to search for heaven somewhere else, because heaven is on this earth itself. Now, we will concentrate on the second stanza. In the second stanza, Kuvempu is describing the beauty of nature. He is trying to tell us that heaven is in the beauty of nature. So when we talk about nature, certain scenes come in front of our eyes, like the landscapes, the mountains, the valleys, the rivers and flowers. All these scenes give pleasure to our eyes. Suppose you see a peacock dancing. So that scene gives pleasure to our eyes. So the images or the scenes which are present in the nature, they give us pleasure. So we need to enjoy the beauty present in nature. By enjoying the beauty, we can assume that heaven is on this earth. While this roaring stream rushes fast. So observe the word, roaring stream. So what do you mean by stream? Stream in Kannada means journey, a small river. So when the water flows, it makes sound. So the water sound is described by the poet as roaring. So the roaring sound of the river is pleasant to our ears. For example, example, suppose you throw a bucket. The sound made by the bucket is not pleasant to our ears. It is unpleasant. But the chirping of the birds and the rustling of the leaves, these sounds give pleasure to our ears. So, while this rolling stream rushes fast, so what is the water doing? So, the water is flowing swiftly. It is roaring and flowing. Rolling surf at the edge of waves. Rolling surf. So what do you mean by surf? Surf means foam. In Kannada, foam andre nore. So you stand on the shore of the sea and observe the movement of the waves. So the waves, they come, they touch the shore and they go back. So the movement of the waves is like a dance. They come, they touch the shore and they go back. When the waves, they touch the shore, they bring along with them foam and bubbles of water. So this scene gives pleasure to our eyes. The tender sunshine leans on verdant gardens. So verdant means green. So the tender sunshine, tender means delicate. So here the poet is talking about the rays of the sun. So early morning, the sun rays will be very pleasant. Okay, we enjoy the sun rays of the early morning. So when the sun rays falls on the gardens, it looks beautiful. Suppose, just assume that there is a dewdrop on the leaves. So when the sun rays falls on this dewdrop, it looks even more beautiful. And then the gentle sun make this earth heaven. So what is Kuwempu trying to tell us in the second stanza? All the things which are present in nature, they are beautiful and they give pleasure to our eyes. So where is heaven? Heaven is on this earth. It is present in the beauty of nature. Now we will concentrate on the third stanza. So in the third stanza, the poet continues to describe the beauty of nature. In the splendor of harvest and of moonlight, heaven lies all over. In the splendor means brightness. Here, Kuwempu is talking about harvest season. Okay, so we grow all kinds of grains on this land. Okay, just assume that it is a paddy field during harvest season. The paddy field looks beautiful. The leaves will be in green color and the paddy pod will be in golden yellow color. So it looks beautiful. And during night time, when the moonlight falls on the paddy field, it looks even more beautiful. It is magnificent. So heaven lies all over. So where is heaven? So heaven is on this earth. It is present in the beauty of nature. Imbibing and spilling the song of nectar, the poet thus creates heaven on earth. So in the last two lines, what is the poet trying to tell us here? So imbibing and spilling. Imbibing means absorbing. So take in. So what do we do? Just assume that you are in the midst of nature. You are enjoying the beauty of nature. So the scenes, the beautiful scenery present in nature is printed in your mind. It is stored in your mind. So a poet is in the midst of nature, is enjoying the beauty of nature. The images in nature is stored in his memory. That is the meaning of imbibing. So whatever you see in nature, everything is stored in your memory. And spilling the song of nectar. Spilling. So what do you mean by spilling? So what does a poet do? When he feels like writing a poem, he recollects the scenes or the images which is stored in his memory about nature. Recollecting those memories, he writes beautiful verses on nature. So that is the meaning of imbibing and spilling. Imbibing means you absorb everything from nature. Spilling, you are writing poem on the beauty of nature by using the memories which are stored in your memory. Imbibing and spilling the song of nectar. So the song of nectar. Nectar means Amrita. Here song of nectar refers to the beautiful poems written by the poet about nature. The poet thus creates heaven on earth. So who can create heaven on earth? A poet can create heaven on earth by writing beautiful verses on nature. That is what poem is trying to tell us here. I hope you have understood the poem. I'll just sum up the poem once. In the first stanza, the poet tells us that heaven cannot be found somewhere else, but it has to be found on this earth. We human beings, we need to try to be like gods and nymphs. If we ourselves cannot be gods or nymphs, then we cannot find gods and nymphs somewhere else. So what do you mean by this? So we human beings, we need to inculcate good qualities and we need to live harmoniously on this earth. In the next stanza is describing the beauty of nature. So by enjoying the beauty of nature, we can find heaven on this earth. So the poet talks about the roaring stream, the rolling surf at the edge of waves, the tender sunshine and the splendor of harvest season. All these things give pleasure to our eyes. And at last, the poet tells us that a poet can create heaven on this earth by writing beautiful poems on the beauty of nature. Thank you.